Well, of course, October is the month of tricks and treats, goblins and ghouls, vampires and bats. And speaking of bats, October is also Bat Appreciation Month. Bats often get a bad rap for their blood-sucking tendencies, but they actually do a lot for our environment and ecosystems. Idaho Conservation League External Relations Director Jonathan Oppenheimer joins me now live here in studio. So Jonathan, thank you for being here today, and you're going a little batty today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I don't always wear my cape to my TV interviews, but happy to do so on a special day like today.
It looks good. I feel underdressed a little bit. So there are a lot of misconceptions about bats or stereotypes. What are some of those that people might not think of necessarily?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, bats get have a bad reputation as a blood-sucking, disease-carrying, hair-tangling animal that'll come and disturb your sleep or get into your bedroom or your cabin and cause all kinds of problems. But really, a lot of those are not very well founded and really give bats a bad rap.
Everyone's always told stay away from bats, of course. Well, I mean, who wants to go pick up a bat? But because of rabies. Are most of them infected?
Yeah, so that's something that only really less than 1% of bats carry rabies. And so again, just kind of a unfounded stereotype that all bats have rabies. They do carry other diseases though, and as with any wild animal, even if it looks like it's, maybe in some kind of, harm's way, like sometimes baby deer are just kind of camping out in your backyard for a few hours while mom is off grazing. Really, you should never touch a bat. And should seek help if one does scratch you or bite you or gets into your business.
Yeah, gets into your business. I like that. So what important role do bats play in the environment, in the ecosystem?
Sure. So Idaho has 14 different species of bats, all native. And they play a critical role in our environment. They can consume upwards of 1,200 mosquitoes per hour, and so if you're ever out per bat per hour, they can consume.
Seems like that would weigh them down a little bit.
You would think so, but they can actually consume their entire body weight in one night of just insects, and so they play a key role in helping to control insects. They also play an important role with regards to pollination, and so they actually will seek out and feed on nectar, and so there are some that are insectivorous, and there are others that are pollinators, and so play a really key role in the environment and in the ecosystem, both to control insects as well as to pollinate plants.
All right, so people may think of a bat as a threat to them, but what are the threats to bats right now?
Yeah, so there are a number of threats, and actually all species of bats in the United States and in Idaho are either endangered or declining in their populations. So there are a number of threats to bats. Some of those things can include habitat loss and development. So if they're living in a cave or in a grove of trees or something like that, and that is lost for some reason, that can have an impact on them. Things that reduce the number of insects out there. So pesticides can have an impact, and insecticides can have an impact on their food supply. But really the biggest threat to bats these days is something called white nose syndrome, which is a disease that is that infects and basically makes bats wake up early from hibernation, lose their fat stores, and then die. And so that disease has been kind of creeping across the United States, and just last year, the first time it was found in Idaho, unfortunately.
Do you know, are there any programs that people could get involved with to learn more about bats or to help out with bat habitat and conservation?
Yeah, so there is some information on the Idaho Department of Fish and Game website. They've got a great paper that details what some of the different species of bats are and where they live in Idaho, and also has some instructions on how you can build a bat box or do some things around your property or your home or your cabin in order to promote and encourage bats to come and pay you a visit. Hopefully on the outside, hopefully at night when they're supposed to be flying around, and again, not getting into your business.
And eating all those bugs.
And eating all those bugs, yep.
And we want to let you know also that we do have a bat-themed cookbook on KTVB.com. Bats aren't on the menu. Don't worry, you're not going to learn how to cook up bat souffle or something like that, but you can check that out on KTVB.com as we celebrate Bat Month of October. All right, Jonathan Oppenheimer with the Idaho Conservation League. That wasn't so bad, was it?
It wasn't so batty.
Okay, all right, Jonathan, thank you for being here today, and we'll be right back.